Okay, the first question says a program stores data about hospital patients. Give suitable identifier name for each data item. So this one actually, you know the basic rules. So can you just, yeah, can you just remember those? So what are the basic rules of naming identifiers? There are few principles, yes.
It should be easy to read, and there shouldn't be spaces in between.
Yeah, no spaces between the words.
Each new word should start with a capital letter.
That is not compulsory, but you can start with the capital or simple letter. Not with the number, right? Not with the number. You can start with the capital or simple letter, but not with a number. So you can't use special symbols. And the another thing is, so it's a best practice. So basically, you can use capital letter as a practice, but not a rule. Then cannot use special symbols such as dollar and dollar plus minus. These symbols at you can't use, but you can use underscore, right? And so cannot use keywords, right? Keywords means the reserved words by the programming language. So for an example, if you're using Python, if you want to rename something, or if you want to make an identifier using Python, to identify if you use if, it is not allowed. Why? Because if is already allocated for the language. It's a reserved word. Right? Print is already allocated. For is already allocated. Likewise, there are already allocated. While is already allocated. Allocated words. Those are called reserved words or the keywords. Okay. Other than that, you can write anything. For an example, temperature of the patient. So you can say patient temperature. So you can capitalize each letter because you can't keep spaces, no. So therefore, you can capitalize the letters. Patient temperature, or P temperature. Then temperature room. You can say room temperature. Room, either room space, not space, right? Room, continuously room temperature. Or you can say room underscore temperature. Right? So let's see what are the suggestions given by the language. So what are the suggestions given in the marking scheme? Okay, you can see here. So without spaces, they have just used the names without spaces and capitalized the each letter in the word in the beginning to separate this. They have capitalized. Okay, this is easy, no? I don't think that you need. Okay. So, but the capitalization thing, the first letter capitalization thing, it's just a practice, right? It is not like a rule. It's a practice. So, for an example, so let's go to the ideally. So this is referring to any programming language, no? So in your school, I think you are learning Python, no? In your one,
yep.
You are learning Python, but in some other schools, maybe they are following some other languages, Pascal, or even Java is there. Okay, so
in my school, no.
Sorry?
Not in my school.
Not in your school, right? Okay. So let's say, okay, there's a variable called number one. This is as identifier, this is okay. You can use a simple letter. But only thing is you can't use something like this number one. With space, you can't use, then that will give error. And if you use capital N number one, so then this simple N number one, capital N number one, two different variables, two different identifiers. Right? And even you can use number underscore one. So that is a different. So this special symbol, only special symbol allowed is underscore. That is also valid. So you can ask, okay, what is print? Let's say number one, it will print 23. And if you ask, okay, print, still we have given the same value, right? Print number, simple number one. Same value was given, so it's printing the same thing, but it's not same. Number underscore one is also, it's also valid usage of identifier. So it can be capital, simple, so but without spaces, but with, so you can't use special symbols as well. Okay, program variables have the value as follows, and asking evaluate each expression. in the following, in evaluate each expression in the following table is invalid yes, if an expression is invalid, write error, right? For the built-in function list, refer appendix in page number 15. Okay, so let's say, so these are the right, Monday and mid-treatings. So this, so they are I think using mid of treating. So built-in functions, you have to refer page number 15. Let's go and see what are these built-in functions. Okay, right, you are given the in the appendix, you have to refer the appendix and right. The mid function, it will return yes, this is the example. It will return the mid value starting from the 2. Number 2 means, okay, 1, 2. It's starting from 1, 2. And then 3 characters. 2, 3 characters. So return a string lengthwise starting from the position X from this string. So it is not 0 index, it is 1 index. So 1, 2 likewise is going. So then length will return the number of characters, including spaces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And left will give you left tree from the left. And LKS will convert to the lowercase. Int will convert to the integer and floating point number. ASC will give you the ASCII value of a character. Mod will give you the modulus. Right, then the operators also given. So why they have given a language? Because you are using different languages now. Therefore, they want to standardize the question, and that's why they have given a different syntax and built-in functions, right? So you have to understand this, and based on this only, you have to write the answers. And joins 2 strings. Okay, this is similar to VB. We are using and to join 2 strings. How we join in Python? 2 strings. If you are in hello and hi, how you join? Hello and hi, how you join? Can we use and? Hello and hi. Will it work for Python? So I have already explained this. What is the symbol to be used? Is it and or something else?
It's and. Yeah.
Sorry?
Is it and?
And, A-N-D-N.
No, this symbol.
The ampersand symbol.
Yeah.
No, actually, if you use and, it won't return. So Python will give an error. Even though this is given, this is actually kind of code that they have assumed, no? But in this case, you cannot say it's error because it's anyway a valid statement. They have asked you to take as a valid statement. But in Python, how to concatenate? This is called concatenate, not join in. So, but joining is also okay. Concatenation, you have to use plus. Okay. Plus. Please remember in Python, you are using plus sign. And so you can use comma also, but comma will merge this to a tuple. Comma will create a tuple. Okay. So comma is not joining as a tuple. Okay. This is joining and creating one string. This is joining as a tuple. These are the 2 methods of joining in Python, right? Addition can be used to add numbers even, right? 5 plus 6 is 11. If you want to join 5 plus 6, you have to quote that 5 and 6. Then it will be concatenated or joined. 5, 6. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. So then and will join. So you have to think and as a join operator. Logical and of 2 Boolean values. Example, true and false. And will compare, right? True and false. Okay. Will be false. And O will also consider the logical operation. Okay. Is that all? Yes. So let's go back. Let's go back and see what's going on. All right. This is our question number. It's 1. Part 2. Programming languages support different data types. Programming languages support different data types. Before that, actually, we have to evaluate this. So what is the first one? What is the answer for first one? Thus,
1 minute.
month and mid of migrating 10 to.
Yeah.
Migrating means migrating is a variable, right? It has happy birthday. You're asking to join Monday and mid of migrating 10 to. 10 to means, you know,
It would
2, 3, 4, 5,
TNH.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, TNH. So then the join will be MON month. Yeah, MONTH will be the join expression. So the next one, age in years 27 plus ASCII, my initial is C. So what's the ASCII value of C? What is the ASCII value of C? ASCII value of A is 65, means C is 60. Yes, 7. 67 you have to add with, yes, what? Age in years, 27. 27 plus 67. So what's the value? Yeah. Yes.
94.
ASC will return what? ASC will return INT value, ASCII value. ASCII value, no?
Yeah.
ASC, yeah, return the ASCII value of a character. Then, so you can add the values. No, you can add the values and you tell the answers after addition. That means 27 plus 67. So it's 94. Okay. INT my initial. INT of my initial. That cannot be done. No, INT can be ASC of my initial is possible. This will cause an error. So what do you think? Is it error or is it 67?
Error, right?
It's error. And mod weight into 2, 10. Weight is like 605. 605 into 2 is 60.5. 60.5 into 2 is 130. Sorry, 121. 121 mod 10 will be, yes. Mod means the integer remainder. So yeah, it's 1. Okay. Then married and not children. Married, yes, true. Children is true. Not true is false. Married and not children is, yes,
false.
It's false. So I think these kind of questions will be easy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check the answers also. If let's check whether is it different from our assumptions. The first one is month, MONTH. Yeah, correct. 94 is the answer. Error, as we guessed. Yes, 1 is the remainder. False is the answer. Right. Okay. Then let's back. In programming languages, support different data types. Give appropriate data type for these. Right. So mind reading. So what is the appropriate type? Mind reading is, what is the best data type to represent mind reading?
String, right?
String, yeah. My initial.
Character.
Yeah, it's character. My initial is character. And char, you can say char or character. Then you have int in years. Sorry, age in years. Age in years is
integer.
Age in years, integer. And then you have weight.
Real.
You can say real. Sometimes we call float even. So here you can say real. Married. It's a
Boolean.
Boolean. Bool or Boolean. So these are things. The following is a function designed in pseudocode. It's a function designed in pseudocode. Line numbers are given for references only. So you have to ignore the line numbers, and function string clean, and it returns string value. And next char is character, outstring string, counter is integer, my string. So outstring, so they have given empty quotation. For counter, 1 to the length. So next char is the meat. Next char is meat of int string. The counter means what? It's an integer, value is not given. So our counter is starting from 1 to 1. And then, so what it does basically? Yes, what it does? The overall idea of this. So it has a repetition loop. It's going from the first to last letter in the string. Okay, I have made that easier. So now can you tell what will happen? What will happen in this code? Two variables are there. So forget about the function first. Forget about the function. So think about the internal code. 4 variables are there. Starting from the first one, the length of the string, it does something. So it is actually taking string as the input. Parameter as a parameter, or as the input, it takes string. And as the output, it returns string. As the input, it takes string. As output, as the output also, it returns string. So whatever you give as the input, whatever you give as input, it will go from 1 to the end of the string, the length, and it does something. So what? It takes the mid value of the input string, which is given, and counter is anyway the first digit is number 1, 1 to 1, the first character, and the next character is then converted to the lowercase. L case means lowercase, right? Okay. So what will be the output if you give something? Okay, let's say you gave something like hello, and what will be the output? Yes. So I'm not asking about the questions. I'm asking about the output of this function. Yes.
I still didn't get the mid part.
Which?
The next character in the
Which
loop,
line is not clear?
From 10th line.
From 10th line. Okay, 10th line. Let me simulate the 10th line. I'm going to use same 10th line here and to have a new file. So you have to always think in the programming perspective, right? So because we have done that already. So let's say a function can be defined using def in Python, def string. So let's say the function name as string clean. And it takes string, let's say st1, and it returns a string that there's no need to indicate here, right? So what it does, it has the next character, let's say nc equal, it's a character variable. I'm not going to give anything because no need to define in Python. So, you know, no need to define the variables. You can just comment instead of that. So we learned that, right? And out string is anyway, initially it's blank. You can say out string is initially blank. Okay, what it does, it will go for counter 1 to length. So you can say for C in range 1 to the length, starting from the to the length of the string, st1. Okay, let me show this. Okay, I'm just going to print this. I'm not going to do the same, right? Print C. I'm just going to print the C, right? So let's run the function string clean. Let's give hello to this. So what will happen if you run this file? What will happen if you run this file? So that's what we have to think. Okay, let's say exam question 2. Let's run this. Okay, you can see it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's that? Starting from 1, it's going character by character. That's what I want to tell. It's going character. So normally, so is it starting from 1 or 0 normally? Here it's given as 1, but is it starting from 1 or 0 normally in a string?
0.
It's 0, right? So let's add 0 also. Then when you run this, you can see it will print all the characters. So basically print the character index. This is the counter, this C. C is the character index. Actually, what it does, it will take the character and convert that character to, it will take one character by character, whatever it takes. Okay, let's say next character. Next character is, you can say, in this string. So rather than telling the same mid function, you can say, rather than using the mid function, you can say, something like this, st1 C. This is something similar to that. You take the particular character, C, particular C character, and you are reading one character. Take in one character, then if I ask you to print that character, what will happen? Print NC. So what will be the output? If I ask to take the character, 0th character, first character, second character, and ask him to print the character, what will be the output? Yes? Simple, no? So earlier it was printing the index.
Yeah.
Then what? Now what will happen?
It would print the character only.
Print the character. Yes. Now it will print the character. So that's what you can see. It's hello. But it does some this lowercase, all right? This L case operation, L case or lowercase, but you don't have that L case in basically. So let's try to use
ST1?
some. Sorry?
ST1.
ST?
ST1 after NC equals.
After ST?
What is ST1?
That is the parameter.
Okay.
There is a parameter. So that's what you're handling here, right? But you don't have, so here you don't have actually a function like LKS. LKS key function, but so there are some other functions which you can use to convert to that to lowercase. What it does, it will convert that character to the lowercase. If this character is greater than A and if it is less than Z, right? If it is between A and Z, what it does, then it will add to the outstream. Okay, something similar to this. Let's write a similar code, not the same, similar code. So let's say, let's take the character value. So, you know, the simple characters, if I print the character value, there's a way to print character value in Python also. That is ORD. And then you can give the relevant character. Then you can print the character value, right? Here. So see how it runs. It's printing the ASCII value of the character here. right? So if it is like, if it is lower than 97, so 97 is simple AC. If it is so, you can say if ORDNC, I'm using some other function, right? ORDNC is less than 97 or equal to 97 means it's a capital letter. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to equal NC to ORDNC, and I'm going to add 32. By doing that, I'm making that character simple and then taking the character value, CHR. Then taking the character value. So I'm doing something like this. So okay, after that, let's print. Okay, after that, let's print the NC. So now this is acting similar to the code given in the pseudocode. But you can see, right? So first it printed hello, capital H, hello. But now this is printing simple H, hello. Understood? Right. So that is what they are. So that is the idea basically, but I have used a different function. I have added 32 to the capital value and generated the simple value. That is different story. But what is there is something similar to this. And I'm not just printing the NC. So what I'm doing, so I'm doing something like this. I'm adding this to outstream. So you have to understand the code. Otherwise, it seems that your programming-based thinking should work, right? Outstream should be outstream plus the new character. And finally, what you can do is you can return the outstream. So this is same function, but we have constructed using a programming language. Okay, now when you play clean string hello, so what it does, okay, so forget about this. I don't want the printing part, commenting that. Okay, let's say test, and I have given a string. Now I just need to print the test, right? I just need to print the test and I'm running this. You can see, okay, it's printing simple hello. So that is the idea. That is the idea of this function. Okay, try it because it's important, because you can do something, you can learn something more by doing this practically, right? Okay, let's say you have something like this, like hello world, you have long string like this, and if you try to reconvert that, and you'll get something like this. So the reason for getting add is because this space, in case of space, you have to skip, right? In case of space, you don't need to convert, no need to convert, you have to keep as it is. Right? These kind of additional things should be included to this, right? If this NC is equal to space, so you can just continue. No need to do something. Continue, but before continue, you have to just add this to the outstream and continue. So no need to convert like this. Add to the outstream and continue. Then if you use some modification like this, then the space conversion won't. What has happened? The colon mark. Then you can see in case of space, it will skip. Otherwise, like try to convert the space by adding 32 to space, and it will become at. That is unnecessary trouble. So likewise, you can do the practical modifications to the code later, right? So when you see something even in the paper, try to do that, because then you will get the real programming taste. When you have the programming taste, it's very difficult to some other to cheat you, and you will automatically find the answers in the exam paper without much effort. So that is my recommendation. Even though you do papers, I know you can do the papers. By harding, you can do the papers, or by looking at that, logically understanding the things, you can do the papers, but try to implement it. That will give you some additional skill. Because the programming is skill of the decade. It's treated as the skill of the decade. When you have these programming skills, so even though you are in biological field or chemistry or physics or engineering or some other field, so you'll be getting additional benefits if you have the coding skills. So therefore, this coding skills is really essential. Try to convert everything to the code, everything to the code this level, in this level. Right. Okay, then it's asking the pseudocode include features that make easy to read and understand. 4 such features. What are the features? Yes?
Indentation.
Indentation, yes, absolutely. Indentation. What else?
Proper spacing.
Proper spacing, indentation, and then, so what else? Right. Structured language, right? Yeah, it has used structured language. And this white space, you can say white space or black lines or white spaces. So white spaces, indentation, and then keywords. Keywords are highlighted in capital letters. Okay, so you can see here capitalization of the keywords. Yes, meaningful identifier names, black lines and white space, indentation. Those are the features. State one feature that could be added to make pseudocode easy to understand. So here everything is there, everything is included, but except the comments. I think you better add comments. Comments can be used to explain code further. Comments can be used to explain the codes further. So comments is one additional feature that you can add to the. Study the function string clean. Identify the features of the function following table. A line number containing example of assignment statement. These are easy, right? Assignment. Go ahead, assignment. So where you can see the assignment statement. A line number containing example of assignment statement. Yes.
In line 8.
Line 8.
8.
Yeah, line 8 is okay. Or you can say line 19 is also okay. Assignment statement. 13. Line 19 is also okay. And these are also okay. You can use any of these.
Yeah.
Any of these, and so you can see marks. Yeah. 88, 12, 13, 19, any of these. Okay. So need to write all, or write in one is enough, I think.
One is enough, I think.
Line number containing a line number, no, write in one will be a line number containing start repetition block. So repetition, it's here. Line 10.
The 4 count.
4 or 10? Repetition?
Yeah, line 10, 4 counter, and then.
Yeah, that part. Then a line number containing end of the repetition block. You have here N4.
23.
Then line number containing start of the selection element, if else. Start of selection, yeah, this 15.
15.
And line number parameters, the mid functions, line number of the parameters of the mid function parameters, params in the mid function. Yeah, here. Yes, here the parameters are given to the mid function. And the Boolean operator used, Boolean operator, true false. True false is, yeah, here. It's used here, the Boolean operator. And the number of local variables. How many local variables are here? Yes, local variables means variables inside the function. How many?
Oh,
Yeah. So you can, it has declared 1,
line
2,
3 to 6, right?
6.
Line 3 to 6.
No, it's asking number of local variables. The number
Oh,
of
so
local
4.
variables. So number of local variables directly 4. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes the parameter can be also considered as a local variable in case it's 5, but my recommendation is 4 for 4. Question number 2, it's, you can see number of local variables 4. They have also taken 4. Okay, then the number of functions calls from within string clean resulting from the cell string clean me. Right? When you give string clean me, number of string clean calls. It's asking how many times it will be called. It will be called string clean me.
I didn't get what they meant by that, sir.
Sorry?
I didn't understand what they meant.
Number of function calls from within string clean. So how many functions will be called inside string clean function when you call this? Right? You can just count the number of functions. This is a function length 1, 2, 3, and then actually this will be called 2 times. Why this will be called 2 times? Because you know in the in this one, right, 4 will run for 2 times here, 1, 2 times, because 2 characters are there, me. So altogether you can say 1, 2, again 2 times, 1, 2, altogether 4, and with this you can say 5 calls will be there. Altogether 5 calls will be there, 5 function calls. Understood or not? Here, because they have given like 2 characters. So like me, they have given 2 characters. So if they have given 2 characters, so here we have not, we have used some functions. ORD function is used, ORD, NC and CHR function is used. So this will be called how many times? 1, 2, 3, again 1, 2, 3, 6 times. With this, total function calls will be 7. So that's what they have. How many times functions are called? Okay, number of a line containing unnecessary statement. Number of line contain unnecessary, which is not necessary. Out of this, which is not necessary. Yes. Anything unnecessary?
Is it the my string isn't used in the program?
Yeah, my string is not used. So declare my string, but it has never used. So that is number 6. It's unnecessary function. Okay, so That is it. And let's move to the question number 3. Yeah, we have already finished. In a chemical factory, a procedure check sensor is required to allow an operator to monitor the temperature of different location. Temperature in different location. In the factory, temperature is measured in 10 sensors, each at a different location. Each sensor has a sensor ID from 1 to 10. The procedure check sensor will compare the measured temperature against each two constant values, low and high, and it will perform the following action depending on the result of the comparison. So if it is below low, output called. If it is above high, from low temp to high temp, normal, sorry, in between that, normal, above high, alarm. Right, a library function get temp returns the temperature from given sensor. What is the library function? Library function? What is that? Yes. What is a library?
A place where data is stored.
Library means basically in a coding, library means already pre-developed or pre-compiled or pre-tested or pre-introduced codes. Right? Codes introduced. So Turtle, for an example, Turtle is a library. Tinker is a library in Python. So if you want a window, you can use Tinker in Python. So that is a library. So it's very easy to have a window using library because library is already that is coded and developed. It's available for you. So let's see. Let's Google for Python Tinker. Python Tinker simple window. So that can be done just by importing the Python Tinker and just by creating a window object or TK, just by running the constructor library. So this is very simple. You can see. Okay, only 2 lines. Okay. Only few lines. Now, even that 4th line is also not required. So let's take a new file. I'll just copy these lines and run this code. Sample GUI. You can see there's a window coming after running this, right? Welcome to Light Gigs app. So that is the actual window title that we have given. So this, so you can say this title can be called a library function. Main loop is a library function. So what library function is? Library function is already defined function by some other library. It's available for us. Understood? No need to code. So you can use that. Did you understand or not?
Yeah.
Right? It's already available function, right? Okay. So then let's move back to the paper. And it says it uses a library function. Library function get temp. That means if you call the library function get temp, it will give the temperature. The structure in this representation algorithm process check sensor is as follows. From the input of sensor ID, input a sensor ID. Right? From the input of a sensor ID, then input a sensor ID. If ID is invalid, repeat the step 1, asking the ID back. Call the get temperature method to obtain the relevant set. Compare the temperature against 2 constant variables values and take the appropriate action. Draw the program flow chart in the next page to represent the algorithm and the procedure. Variable declarations are not required in the program flow charts. It's asking the flow chart. So it's an easy question. So it has a library function called get temp. You have to call the ID, input the ID. If ID is invalid, again, you have to ask for the ID. If ID is a valid ID, then call the get temperature function, get the temperature. If temperature below, so actually I'm telling the code. If temperature is below the low temperature, you are telling cold. If it is in between low and high, you are telling normal. If it is above the temperature, you say alarm, right? So I'll simply go to the answer explanation because it's a very simple one. You can see here, right? Start and output the here output input sense ID. That you are displaying a message input sense ID. Then you input the sense ID. As this is output, this is input, right? So no, this can be combined together, right? There's a parenthesis. This can be combined together. You can display a message and get the input. Okay.
Right.
And if it is a valid ID, yes, it's a valid ID, or it's between 0, 11, that means 1 to 10, then you continue, otherwise you go back. If it is a valid ID, you go and call the library function, that is get temperature. That is a procedure or process. That's why you have put it in a rectangle with double empty square. So this is how you represent process. Get temperature, so this is not clear, no? Yeah, get temperature method. Get temperature method is called by or passing the parameter as the ID. After calling the temperature, if temperature is high, call the alarm. If not, if temperature is low, then called. If temperature is not even lower than, then if it is not higher, not lower, that means in between, you say output normal. Very simple as that. Okay. Can you write Python program for this? Yes. Can we write a Python program? So here actually you have to then, so we can't call the library function, get temp. So I'll give that as an activity, right? You can just try. I'll give that as an activity. But in that case, you can't call the library function because you don't have sensors. You have to actually use maybe a list. You have to use a list to get the indicate the input the temperatures. You can simulate that by using a list. Okay, so with that, I'm going to stop for today. As I said that it's difficult to continue, it's difficult to talk, that's right. And next day we'll discuss the remaining part, right? Okay, we have only, next day means I think tomorrow can we do a session?
Tomorrow morning I can't, sir, because I'm going to school. Is evening possible?
Evening, I'll check, right? I'll check my schedule because I have to check it with the other classes. Evening, I have a class, but I have to check that, right? I'll let you know. Right. So anyway, I think the practical paper is quite easier than, so in my view, right? Practical paper is quite easier than the theoretical one, no? What do you think? For you, it's difficult.
Yeah, I find the theory paper easier.
Sorry?
I find the theory paper easier.
Theory one is here, right? But that is because you are afraid of, so you are thinking, you prejudge. You think that you can't do programming. Don't prejudge. So when you practice this, you can, right? Only thing is you have to practice. That's right. Need some practicing. Practicing never back. So that's the thing. I think you have like you have not practiced much. That is the reason that you are finding this difficult. Practice the coding, then it will be easy. Okay, so then let's talk next week. Okay.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.